That's right, roughly 15 times trailing earnings or almost 5 times revenues. Our banker says that's in line with the market comps. We could probably get a better valuation in an IPO, but we wouldn't be able to create as much liquidity for the current shareholders. My father won't end up with the $1 billion foundation he wanted, at least not immediately, but at least he'll be able to see his foundation fully funded and able to start making real gifts. And my brother and sister will have all the money they could ever spend. We plan to pay out the excess cash that's on the balance sheet before we sign the deal. Assuming we close in a reasonable time, our assumption is that any intervening earnings will stay with the business. It's baked into the price. But if we get past 90 days, we'll have to revisit that. That's right, just as if they were buying a public company. That would be my position. We didn't talk about that directly, but the assumption was we needed to have a holdback since it would be hard to recover the purchase proceeds from the individual shareholders once it was paid out. I mean, I'm not interested in asking my father or my siblings for money back if there's some kind of problem after the deal closes. Together with the equity, that's 20% of the purchase price. That ought to be plenty. Definitely. We had the typical one audit cycle discussion about the timing. I think once we get through an audit, a big portion of the escrow should be released. We're a software company, so it's not like we have a lot of environmental liabilities or things like that. And the truth is, I know where all the issues and risks are, and I'm going to be working on them, so there won't be any surprises. What do you mean? Yes, I'm going to continue as CEO. The plan is to retain our current management team, supplemented at the board level by some of BGI's people. They're also going to help me build out our China team. Yes, they said they have a standard CEO package they'd like to use. Same base pay. A discretionary bonus based on the annual budget, 12 months of severance, but otherwise at will, and 1 year non compete. There would be a 15% pool to be allocated by the board. It would be subject to a 5 year vesting, 20% each year. We haven't worked out my share. Sounded to me like they wanted me to make a proposal for the whole team, including myself. I don't think it'll be a problem. Okay, that's separate. That's purchase price, not compensation. I think so. I was. You mean, would it be better for some of us, like me, to take more of the rollover equity and less cash? Yeah, but that's like me investing $250 million in the deal rather than just 50. I did think about that. But I'm pretty sure my brother and sister would prefer more cash. Not so sure about my dad. He is very bullish about what we can get done in China with BGI. Like what? That's an interesting idea. I'd be open to exploring that. They're assuming they will need 1.35 billion US of purchase price debt financing in addition to the 750 million of equity they're putting in. They have indications of interest and term sheets for 850 million US senior bank debt and 500 million US of subordinated debt. Looks like there shouldn't be a problem. We had already spoken to some of the same banks about financing a leveraged recap, so they were already up to speed on the business. I'm not sure what we can do if in the end of the day they can't get financing. They won't be able to close the financing until we get the final approvals, like HSR, to close the deal. So theoretically, at least, they won't know for sure if they have the money they need to close until then. Like some kind of termination fee? Certainly makes sense. The other thing I don't like is the risk they don't get the approvals they may need from the Chinese government. It'll be quite disruptive to have gone through a lengthy sale process only to find out they aren't able to do the deal because of some political issue or the like. I've seen that the Chinese government has been scrutinizing deals more closely in the past year. I don't want to be going through all of this and in the end not getting the approvals we need. I understand. I think we start with the 750 million of equity they're investing. Maybe a bit aggressive. But whatever it turns out to be, I don't want to have to go to China to collect it, right? Not that occurs to me at the moment.